My wife wants me to get her best friend pregnant. 34M, never imagined I'd be writing this. My wife Emily, 33F, and I have been married for 7 years with 2 amazing kids. We've had an unconventional but incredible relationship that includes her college best friend Sarah, 34F. What started as a drunken threesome in Cancun during spring break evolved into an amazing dynamic between the 3 of us. Sarah's been like a second mom to our kids since day one. She's there for every birthday, every milestone, and even helps with nighttime routines when she stays over. The kids adore their Aunt Sarah. She's independent, successful, and has never wanted to settle down, but lately she's been talking about wanting a baby. A few days ago, after we put the kids to bed, the 3 of us were relaxing with a couple of drinks. Suddenly, Emily said something that's been keeping me up. "What if Mark was your donor?" she said to Sarah. "You've seen what amazing kids he makes," she added with a wink. I nearly choked on my drink. But as the conversation developed, it was clear this wasn't just a passing thought. They'd been discussing it for weeks. Sarah's been researching sperm banks, but feels uncomfortable with the idea of an anonymous donor. Emily thinks it's perfect. Sarah gets a baby from someone she knows and trusts, and our children would have a half-sibling they already love. The kicker? They don't want to do it through a clinic. They want to do it naturally because of our existing dynamic. Emily says it would be more meaningful, more intimate. Sarah blushed when she agreed, saying she'd prefer it this way too. What's fucking with my head is how excited Emily gets talking about it. She can't hide the excitement at the idea of me getting her best friend pregnant, just like she was when we were trying for our kids. Sarah keeps giving me these shy looks that drive me crazy, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't attracted to the idea. I know I should probably say no. This could complicate everything. But watching them plan and discuss it, seeing how much they both want this, I'm seriously considering it. The thought of having another child, this time with Sarah, with Emily's blessing and enthusiasm, is starting to feel right in a way I never expected. The most surreal part? Emily's already talking about how our kids would love having a little brother or sister at Aunt Sarah's house. She's planning play dates and family vacations like it's the most natural thing in the world. Am I crazy for even considering this? The legal implications alone should terrify me, but somehow they don't. I think I'm going to say yes. God help me, but I think I'm going to do it. Moving on to story 2. How do I and F move forward after my daughter, 22F, hid her father's affair from me for 2 years? I, 49F, was married to my ex-husband, Derek, 49M, for 20 years before divorcing a few months ago. We have 2 kids, a daughter, 22F, and a son, 17M. I found out Derek was having a 2-year affair, and my world was shattered. But what hurt almost as much was discovering that my daughter had known about it the whole time. She actively hid it from me for 2 years. Lied, covered for him, and never once tried to warn me. When I found out, I was devastated, not just by my husband's betrayal, but by my daughter's choice to keep it from me. She was young at the time, and I understand it was a difficult position for her, but the pain was immense. I never confronted her directly, thinking it might affect her as she was about to go off to college. I just told her I knew, that I understood, and tried to move on. But after she left, I found myself distancing myself from her more and more. It wasn't planned, I just needed space to heal, and that meant not calling her as often, or reaching out as much. Fast forward a 1.5 years, and I've started dating someone, 41M, who has a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Recently, we all went to Disney together, and he posted a family photo of us on social media. For context, my boyfriend covered all the expenses as a gift for his daughter's birthday, wanting to make it special for her. Along with my son and me, she chose her 2 cousins to come along, making it a big family-style trip that was all about her. My daughter must have seen it because she didn't call me for over a month afterward. And honestly, I wasn't as affected by her absence as I would have been before. I still love her, but every interaction brings up that pain. Out of nowhere, she called me in tears. She was screaming, saying I obviously hadn't forgiven her, and that I'd shut her out on purpose. She accused me of replacing her with my boyfriend and his daughter. She kept saying, "It was a long time ago. I was a kid. I didn't mean to hurt you." She said she thought she was doing the right thing by staying quiet, that she didn't know how to tell me, and that she was terrified of breaking our family apart. She asked me if I'd ever forgive her or if I'd moved on for good. I tried to tell her that I loved her and never wanted to replace her, but she just kept pushing that I should get over it by now, and that I'd abandoned her for this new life. To top it off, my ex-husband later called me, furious, accusing me of leaving my daughter for a younger man and a new family. He even had the nerve to call me selfish for moving on. Ironically, his girlfriend is 30, and he's the one who blew up our family with his affair. It's like no one understands that I'm still trying to recover from years of betrayal, and it feels like I'm expected to just let it go, as if my pain doesn't matter. Feel like I lived a totally different reality to what he lived. I felt loved, I felt joy. Aside from those rare fights, we really do lean and support one another. I want to marry him one day, but does he feel the same? With me, he is so loving and caring, more than anything I could ever ask for, but how he's venting off about our fights, and how he's not even once defended me when Mia speaks so ill about me. Is this really the kind of man who wants to marry me? I know I won't get sympathy, and really I'm not asking for it, but please tell me, is this normal for people to do? Those who love your partners to bits, do you vent about them like this to close friends? I just need to know. My son, who lives with me, found out about his sister hiding the affair after overhearing my husband's mom and sister talking. He was crushed and hasn't forgiven her either, and they've barely spoken since. I never wanted him to know, but it feels like the entire family is divided now, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm in therapy, but I still feel lost. Part of me knows she was young and didn't know how to handle it, but another part of me feels like she chose him over me. I love my daughter, but every time we talk, that hurt resurfaces. I don't know if I'm failing as a mother or if I'm protecting myself. I feel like I've emotionally checked out, and I don't know how to reconnect. Moving on to story 3. I, 32F, read my 34M fiancé's personal texts with his best friend. How do I move on from this? I know, no excuses. I breached his personal space. I fucked up. Now I might be spiraling. I don't know how to feel and what to do. After lunch, he and I had our usual chat, so I took the chance to ask him about something. I told him that I saw him paying extra attention to someone I'm close to. While she was over, I saw him observing her for quite a while, and so I asked him if there was anything there for him. Mind you, I asked him calmly, and in the best way I can, without it sounding like he did anything wrong. I genuinely wanted to know what he had in his mind. He said he didn't even realize he was doing that and apologized, and we just sort of finished talking about it. I'm usually the type of person who's always trusted their gut feeling, so I felt like something was off with him after that conversation. I don't know what led me to do it, deep insecurities or just distrust or both. When he went out, I looked at his messages on his laptop. I needed to know if somehow there's something he's not telling me. I decided to open the chat with his BF, best friend. And now I can't unread it all. His BF, let's call her Mia, apparently deeply dislikes me. We've never met, so she's only got stories from him to go by, making an impression of me. I feel like I've either been living a lie or have been delusional this whole time, because she seems to think I'm making his life harder for him, and what hurt the most was that he seems to be the one fueling it. I get her anger. If I was told by my best friend that she was mistreated, taken for granted, or unappreciated, I'd be angry too. My fiancé and I have had our fights, yes, and part due to my insecurities. I've been vulnerable and upfront with him when I stray into those dark places. I know I'm not an easy person to love. That's always been with me, so when I met him I really thought, and still do think, he's my person. But everything I read hurt so much. He'd tell Mia things like, I almost stole someone's girlfriend. I'm such a whore. She's insecure again. This was after I told him jokingly, don't cheat on me, when he went out to the club, and I stayed in. And scrolling further, I found him venting to Mia about a fight we had with him, saying, this bitch is insecure again. It shocked the living hell out of me, 'cause I recall that fight. To my face, he presented himself to be calm and forgiving, but when he's describing it to Mia, it's something totally different, with him even saying, I just need to survive until the end. I didn't see one exchange where he said nice things about our relationship. To be fair, they call sometimes too, and exchange voice notes, but as far as the texts are concerned, nothing nice about us at all. Feel like I lived a totally different reality to what he lived. I felt loved, I felt joy. Aside from those rare fights, we really do lean and support one another. I want to marry him one day, but does he feel the same? With me, he is so loving and caring, more than anything I could ever ask for, but how he's venting off about our fights, and how he's not even once defended me when Mia speaks so ill about me. Is this really the kind of man who wants to marry me? I know I won't get sympathy, and really I'm not asking for it, but please tell me, is this normal for people to do? Those who love your partners to bits, do you vent about them like this to close friends? I just need to know.